Hello YouTube, it is 6:06 p.m. Friday, February 18th, 2022. Yeah, I didn't make it. Excuse me, I haven't made it to Bullock's yet, and I wasn't making it soon enough to get tacos. Called Heather from the 60 bus, as at least I know by the time I'm on the 60 bus, leaving the Montebello Transit Center, that I'm close enough to say, I'll be there in a few minutes. But yeah, she said it was already too late for tacos, so I kind of predicted that. So not a huge loss. I just walked to that particular Whataburger, and the lobby was open, and the burger was delicious. Actually, I ate about half of it. Probably going to finish the rest on the back patio at Bullock's. So I'm as much as it looks like I'm walking to Big Lots, I'm not. I'm going to check out something next to Big Lots just because I'm curious about it. Big Lots, take it home today, no credit needed. Wonder what that's about. Not like I'm trying to owe Big Lots money. I hardly buy anything that's more than a couple bucks there, but kind of tempted to walk in and see if they've discounted that Gamer Girl keyboard mouse set yet, but I expect probably not. I was there, I don't know, about a week and a day ago, and they still hadn't. And it didn't look like any of them had sold either, just the same amount that looked like it was sitting there before, 40 bucks a pop. Yeah, I don't see anybody spending that much on a keyboard of any kind at Big Lots. But that said, if they can take it down to 10 bucks, maybe even 20, I'm all over it. So this is interesting. I saw this the other day leaving Big Lots, but I wasn't shooting video when I went by. So there's just kind of a little inset here in the structure of the strip mall, and they've added an iron gate with spikes at the top and a lock, and there's nothing in there. There's absolutely nothing in there, and my guess is that they just put that there just to prevent homeless people from being able to rest there and camp out there, which is kind of interesting. So this is what I was wanting to check out. Somebody on the bus pointed out a sign over there, which is visible from Bethany, on the Bethany bus, about DashMart. It's a DashMart by DoorDash. I'm curious what this is about. It's DoorDash. We deliver with DoorDash. Have your come in from 6 a.m. to 11:59. Don't ring doorbell, please. Have your order ready to show. DoorDash, we deliver with DoorDash. Get the app, visit DoorDash.com. So I'm not quite sure what exactly that is. I'm gonna have to look in my DoorDash app and excuse me, a little bit congested today. I have to look in my DoorDash app to see if there's any mention of that. I was kind of hoping there'd be a sign on the door that offered a little bit more explanation, and I saw somebody walk in the door, so obviously it's a functional thing. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. Never noticed that before in all my trips to Big Lots. Of course, as you can see, it's just kind of assumed that everybody is walking in from big sea of parking, so there's not a lot of signage, for the pedestrian walkways to indicate what businesses you're walking next to. But yeah, that's the sign there. You see where it says, oh no, I don't see it. I'm looking at the one that says Big Lots. We got Subway, pediatric dentistry, affordable dentures and implants. I wonder how affordable they are. A Mexican restaurant, looks like another Mexican restaurant, and a cricket store. So, oh yeah, it's on the next sign. I definitely saw the sign when I was on the bus and the guy was mentioning it. Yeah, obviously that guy really likes chicken. He was all telling me about the new chicken place inside the Walmart at Christown, and then I said, yeah, so I'm probably just gonna I was wanting to get off at 23rd and eat, and he's like, oh, you going to Church's Chicken? He's a pretty heavy set guy, so kind of, you can't make that up, a heavy set guy just talking about how much he loves fried chicken. Although he was a white guy, so there's that. Yeah, so to throw a little curve on the stereotypes. But yeah, that's the sign point out. DashMart by DoorDash. Super curious what that's about. Oh, and there's the cricket store. Didn't think I saw a cricket store over by Big Lots. So yeah, so I'm riding on the 60, coming towards, and the transfer actually went really well. In fact, remarkably well. I had enough time, and of course I'm using the tracking in the bus app to verify that I have the time. All right, we got somebody blocking the crosswalk. We're blocking the crosswalk, blocking the crosswalk, dude. Blocking the sidewalk. I actually walked across somebody's hood earlier today for doing that. Yeah, not feeling that aggressive right now, but I was in a mood when that happened. So yeah, the bus transfer worked out remarkably good. Both of them really tight, so I was nervous about it. But yeah, when I left the post office, may as well recap the whole trip. I think I had time between here and Bullock to do that. Usually when I leave the post office, I end up walking around the post office. Excuse me, which is more than a half-mile walk. It's a really huge post office. But I ended up walking around the post office and going over to 50th Street Station and taking the train. But generally speaking, I always check the transit app just to see how long I would have to wait to take the 3 headed eastbound. And usually it's 20 minutes or more, and I can walk to the rail in about 10 minutes or less, so it just doesn't make sense to sit there and wait on the 3 when I can get a faster ride on the train, and it's a short walk away. And most likely I'm taking the 3 to the train anyway, so you know, one less transfer, one less hassle. So this time I got crazy lucky. I almost missed the bus due to the fact that Phoenix drivers absolutely do not respect unmarked crosswalks. Oh my gosh, I got a countdown timer on this one. 2, 1, made it. Yeah, due to the fact that nobody respects that, you know, nobody's slowing down to let me cross the street there, coming out of the post office. But I managed to get across. But yeah, as I got across, I'm kind of walking towards the stop there, eastbound on Van Buren, and I'm kind of waving frantically. But the bus driver did stop, and you know, pretty much he arrived at the stop same time I arrived at the stop. So props to that driver. He was also running early, according to the app, early on schedule, and he had at least 2 stops that he made between there and Central Station, where the recording came on saying that the bus was waiting, that was ahead of schedule and was waiting to catch up. Okay, that's the funniest sign I've seen in a while. It says hung. The guy wants everybody to know he's hung. Understandable. So do I. Oh, he turned around, so I can't get a good view of his sign. It says hung in big bold letters, and then RY in not the bold letters. Oh, too bad you can't just eat your own dick. You know, I think I hit the button. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, yep, there it goes. Yeah, you need to yield to the crosswalk, man. I know it's an inconvenience. You gotta yield to the crosswalk. Oh, we got another person pulling into the crosswalk. So anyway, back to the three. Yeah, so I caught the 3. Didn't waste any time there. Got to experience the frustration of not knowing if I was going to make the connection to the light rail, because the light rail was coming very close as the 3 was approaching. But for whatever reason, the bus stop right there at Central Avenue, which would be a sensible place to get off and just walk across the street and catch the, you know, walk across Central and catch the train, the 3 doesn't stop at that stop. You know, and I have said that stop is just, that's one of those segregation of class kind of stops where only the express buses stop there, so they don't let the local buses stop there to avoid the people the better class of people who ride the express buses to not have to mingle with nasty bus people. But I noticed that the zero, I don't know if it's called the 0A or the 0S. There's 2 Route Zeros now. There's the regular zero, which goes from Van Buren north, and then there's another one that is like the 0A or the 0S or something like that, and it goes south down Central from Central Station. I'm not sure if it goes to just to Baseline or if it goes all the way to South Mountain, but anyway, it's the South Central bus. And I noticed that bus loads there, and I can't imagine it has any nicer class of people riding on it than the Route 3. But anyway, but yeah, the Route 3 doesn't stop there. It's a little frustrating because I'm looking at the transfer thinking, God, if it stopped there, I'd have no problem getting my train, but my train is already rounding the corner from Washington onto northbound Central, and it's going to really suck if I have to, backtrack from 2nd Avenue on foot because this stupid bus doesn't stop at the stop that it passes by the train, and miss it. But fortunately, there's that extra train stop that I've talked about that's like 2 blocks south of Van Buren, like 2.5 blocks south of Van Buren, and that delayed it enough that I was able to, and the fact that it goes like a whopping 10 miles per hour through that part of downtown, that delayed it enough that I was able to catch it. So that worked out well, even though it annoys me to no end that the Route 3 makes me walk backwards from 2nd Avenue when there's an actual bus stop just before Central, and there's still a bus platform between Central and 1st Avenue there at Central Station, which is being unused. Oh, and yes, I did just walk past Bullock's. I just want to get this whole trip out because this trip was kind of nuts. So chased around the rail. Rail was great. Got to overhear this conversation of this young couple behind me that's not a couple, but maybe someday they will be a couple. It sounded like that's what was brewing. They made a lunch date. How adorable. Both work in an office. It always amuses me to listen to people like that having conversations about office life. That's just, I don't know, it's just something I have no experience with. It's completely alien to me. So yeah, that was mildly amusing to me. And both talking about driving, but the guy just doesn't like to drive. He rides the rail, has a car, but he just doesn't like to drive. Oh, millennials are silly. And the young girl, she loves to drive. She was talking about how she was driving out of town. See the riffraffs in that alley. Oh, first alley I've aimed the phone down and wasn't full of a bunch of junkies. That guy really needs to fix his exhaust on his Scion. That thing sounds like shit. So anyway, yeah, that was the most eventful thing that happened on that train, was just overhearing the conversation of the people behind me. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, that's not even close to the most interesting thing that happened on that train. Oh my God, I almost forgot the weird deaf chick. Oh, you know, and I almost completely sidetracked my day to hang out with her, but I don't know. She was urgently trying to communicate with me, and I couldn't really understand her because she was making those kind of sounds that deaf people make when they're urgently trying to communicate, that kind of and a bunch of gestures that I couldn't make shit out of. And it was another one of those moments where I'm like, God, how much would the situation have been different if I knew ASL and could have just like responded to her in the moment with ASL. And yeah, she was definitely, you know, homeless riffraff, but she looked like she would have cleaned up really nice. And also had a chihuahua in her jacket that was abso-fucking-lutely adorable and looked completely familiar to me. It looks like we got some lizards up here. Ooh, that's a big Komodo dragon right there. God damn.
Why are you recording?
Because it's my right as an American citizen under the freedom of the press. Oh no, I'm not an officer. I'm a junkie. Thank you, though. Have a good day, officer. It's funny. That kid's having a bad day, I guess. Wow. Have a good day, officer. That's awesome. Anyway. Oh, so yeah, so in about the last mile or so, and at this point I'm checking, I don't know, about 7th Avenue and Camelback. I'm checking the laundromats are fun. I'm checking the transit app to see how my connection is going to work to the 60, and finding it pretty favorable. And then that's when she kind of just got right next to me, and she's like pointing at my phone and going, rrr, 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 and I have no idea what she's trying to communicate or convey to me. And then she sat back down, but she kept looking at me with these just totally expectant, sad eyes. So I couldn't really, didn't know what to make of it. I did feel oddly drawn to her, and of course that might just be my neglected loins, but you know, that's a separate tragedy. But I remembered that I've got this LED scrolling app that every now and then I just do obnoxious things with, and I put a message on it and held it up so she could see it. She's sitting in the seat directly across from me, saying join me for dinner, and a question mark. And she was kind of like nodding her head, so I thought maybe she was down, because I mean, I'm thinking a piece of paper and a pencil, and we could probably sit down and communicate quite well over at the Carl's Jr. But it was really odd. Like, so I'm continuing to, at this point, I'm like trying to look a little more closely and verify the tracking to see, you know, hey, is my transfer going to work okay from? Oh, excuse me. Is my transfer going to work okay from the train to the 60 westbound? And lo and behold, it's like working out perfectly. In fact, it's leaving just enough time for me to walk over to the Chase ATM, do a deposit, because I hadn't done that since, you know, getting paid last night, and I needed to do that, and then walk across to the, you know, catch the bus. And as I was walking that way, it was kind of weird. It was like the deaf gal was sort of walking with me, but sort of not walking with me. Oh, goodness. This cough is getting worse. Sure hope I don't have the coof. Anyway. I'm recording the world. Everybody in the world. You don't have the right to tell me that, actually. It's amazing people seem to think they have the right to say don't record me when they're in a public place. Like, apparently she's unaware that there's cameras right there at the gas station that are also recording her. People are silly, what can I say? So anyway, I'm walking down, walking to my bank, and she kind of walked off in a different direction. So I was a little disappointed, because I kept thinking in my head, God, I wonder what's going on here. There seems to be some kind of chemistry going on between us, and am I her guardian angel? Is she my guardian angel? Because it looks like we both need a a little change in our lives. But yeah, she walked off in another direction. I don't know if I'll ever see her again, but the image of her and her little dog are firmly burned into my mind, and it's gonna take me a while to shake that. So after that, yeah, very eventful trip, as it was or not. So after that, I go to the ATM, and there's a woman that parked her car, and she's walking up to the door of the bank as I am. I pull on the door, it's locked, and I just turned and said to her, I said, yeah, they lock these vestibules all the time. I said, it probably won't open with my card. I said, but I think I'm going to try it. She goes, really? I said, yeah, it sucks that at Chase Bank I have to walk through the car drive up to the drive up ATM as a pedestrian. It's very unnerving and unsafe. And she just kind of had a funny look. She turned around and she walked back to her car. I'm finally coming up to this hawk. I've been wanting to try using this hawk for a while. So wait, oh, that's got a different voice. Wait. That's a different voice than all the rest of them have. Still saying the same thing, but it's got a different voice. Wait. Bicycle on the sidewalk because they have no place else to ride on the street. Wait. How's it going? Anyway, so she just kind of turned away and got back in her car, so at least she's got the option of driving to the drive-up ATM, which I didn't have. And gosh, for a hawk, this is taking a really long time. A video Road Guy Rob did on hawks showed them changing real quickly, and this is taking a damn long time. It's not prioritizing pedestrians at all. Yeah, I feel like I've waited enough. Not adequate, Phoenix. Kind of a fail. Of course, if I get hit here, I'm completely at fault for crossing against the light, but what the fuck ever. So yeah, I walked to the walk-up ATM and do my deposit, handle my business, and I see a woman who's kind of handicapped. She's walking with a cane, and you can tell she's struggling to walk, and she's coming near me, and she goes, does that work? And I said, referring to the ATM that I'm at, I'm like, yeah, it works fine. So it's kind of scary having to stand here, and use the facility with cars, coming at you. But I said, it works. And we had a great conversation about, how dangerous it is for a pedestrian to use a drive-up ATM, and how when I talked to Chase staff, they said it was, quote, for safety. But yeah, I feel a whole lot more safe stepping into a vestibule than standing in a place where, cars could potentially mow me down. But, everybody's got a different definition of safety, I guess. But yeah, I just kind of stood a little ways back from it, and we were chatting while she did her banking, because, if a car comes at me in the drive-up ATM, I'm fit enough to jump the hell out of the way. That woman would have just been dead. Wow, nice truck. Sorry about your penis. Anyway, I wasn't able to stay there the whole time though, because I had to watching my bus tracking and had to hurry up and run across Montebello to catch my bus. Caught my bus. That's when I had the conversation with the heavy guy that really liked fried chicken, and yeah, I had a menu from the new chicken place over there at Walmart. It struck me as a little bit expensive, but I guess that's probably why I don't have as much fried chicken at fried chicken places. It's just fried chicken that's be kind of expensive at those places. All right, I got 15 seconds to cross here. I'm gonna go this way. Just wasting time just to talk with y'all. So much fun, and I'm so behind at uploading these, and even more behind at reviewing them. But whatever. This seems to be my most enjoyable way of passing the time these days. So after, so I caught the bus chatting with him, and apparently I hit the pull string a little bit too late. I saw it said 23rd Avenue on the little digital display inside the. Yeah, I have the walk signal, dude. I had the right of way. More of that canal infrastructure. But yeah, so the bus driver didn't stop at 23rd, so it's kind of fair. I mean, I think he could have, but I guess he felt he was moving too fast to safely stop, which meant that I had to get dropped off at the freeway, the stop I normally get off across the street from Bullock's, and which meant to get to Whataburger, because, you know, go full circle in our story, you know, when I called Heather, it was too late for tacos. And at that point I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do Whataburger. And that meant that I had to cross I-17, which you saw me walking back, and that was a pretty uneventful cross. That worked out pretty well. But when I was crossing to go to Whataburger, well, as I got off the bus and I'm walking the direction I am now, eastbound, some just dirty ass rednecks in a dirty, trashy old pickup truck. Not only did they block the crosswalk, but they were pulled and stopped halfway into the lane behind the bus. Like, really? You can't stop behind the crosswalk so people are behind the sidewalk so people can walk and wait until the bus leaves and clears that lane before you go? Fucking assholes. And I yelled at them. Like, that put me over the line. I just fucking yelled at them. I couldn't hear if they said anything or if they even heard me because they had their windows up. That pissed me off. And then as soon as I get up to the southbound frontage road there, there's a car, like a black shiny car, completely pulled over, blocking the crosswalk, completely blocking the crosswalk. And at that point, I just had enough. And I looked him directly in the face. He was pulled so far forward, I didn't have room to walk around in front of him. Damned if I'm walking behind him into the road. And I climbed right over his hood. I hope I left it down. Climbed right the fuck over his hood. He's like, hey, I'm like, asshole, you're in the fucking crosswalk. Don't stop in the crosswalk. You won't have this problem. I've been wanting to do that for a long time, and I finally just got pissed off and bold enough to do it. And it needed done. Maybe I'll think twice before he stops in a crosswalk like that. And that brings us up to right now. I'm going into Bullock's. I still haven't managed to find or get an adapter for my headphones, so won't be adding any music today, unfortunately, but at least I can work on some downloads. And I'm thinking about some of the videos that I've shot, widescreen videos. Don't know if I have time to do it, but I'm thinking about taking some of the ones that I've shot, you know, widescreen, horizontal, like videos should be shot, and cropping out some less than 1 minute segments out of them, and cropping the sides off to make them vertical, that the way they qualify as YouTube shorts. See how that works out. Look at these people. That guy's blocking the sidewalk. Like, I don't understand why that guy doesn't just turn right. Why he wants to stay there, block the sidewalk. Oh, he's check it out. Blocking the street. He's in the street, blocking the street, does not have his headlights on. Oh, he'll back up for the truck. Wouldn't back up for me. Now, it looks like the truck's actually trying to turn into the parking lot, so he's not going to have enough turning radius to pull it off. Nope, he's just going straight. Knew he was going into Bullock's. Oh, cool, he is going into Bullock's. Or not. Can't tell. But, yeah, I don't understand why that guy with his headlights off. It is dark, dude. You should turn on your headlights. Why he doesn't just simply turn right and go south on 26th Avenue and then turn at the next street, either right or left. Left to get to I-17 freeway, or right to get to 27th Avenue, like I just walked. Got blocking the road, causing that guy to drive on the left-hand side of the road. God, there's all kinds of bad drivers. He had no headlights on. That guy's got headlights on. So many bad drivers to be filmed just right here. It's amazing. Oh, fuck cars.